Hello and happy Thursday. My name is Michael Leeserman here with the Trial Guide's tip of the day. It is June 13th, 2024, and our tip today comes from Michael Cowen's Big Rig Justice, a comprehensive guide to maximizing value in truck accident cases. Here to read the tip is Michael Cowen himself. Thanks for being here, Michael.
Thank you for having me, Michael. When you look at what you need to prove gross negligence and attack your case with those elements in mind, you are far more likely to develop the evidence you need to survive summary judgment.
So attack the case with the elements you need to prove gross negligence. Give us an example. What do you mean by this?
Okay, well, in trucking cases, you often want to talk about the bad conduct of the company. In many jurisdictions, to do that, you need to have a punitive damages case, or the company can hide its bad conduct by admitting that their employee was in the course and scope of employment. Sometimes they call it the McAfee rule. But so and plus you always want to have a threat of punitive damages in your cases. But to do that, you have to develop the evidence, because the defense is going to file a motion for summary judgment at some point. And so it's really important that you look at what the jury instruction is going to be, you look at the case law, and you go try to get those sound bites. So in many jurisdictions, what you have to prove is that something is extremely dangerous. The company's decision makers knew it was dangerous, but they did it anyway. So an example is a tractor trailer is up to 80,000 pounds. If a driver is following too closely at an 80,000 pound tractor trailer, it can cause death or catastrophic injury. Therefore, and most trucking safety directors know that. They know how dangerous it is. They know what a truck can do if a driver isn't driving it properly. So knowing that, do they train the drivers? Do they do anything to make sure their drivers know the rule and that they're actually following the rule? And if they don't, they're really endangering the public. It's really good if they've had other crashes and they don't. One of my favorite questions for jury selection on these kind of cases, how many people have to die before a company changes its safety rules? If you have prior deaths, prior catastrophic injuries and crashes, and now you have another crash that's similar and the company didn't do anything about it, that's another way to prove what, in Texas, we call gross negligence. Some people call it recklessness. Other states just call it a punitive damages case. But if you don't go in there and depose the decision makers that have to have that conscious awareness of the danger and, conscious disregard, reckless disregard of the danger when they're going forward and making their bad decisions, then you're not going to have the evidence you need to survive summary judgment, and the jury's never going to hear about it.
There's a whole lot there. One is for people not familiar with trucking cases to be aware of what I like to call it the corporate immunity rule, that the motor carrier can act really in ways that are shocking, and the jury doesn't get to hear it unless you do what you're talking about, prove the gross negligence or the punitive damages. So even if that never eventually gets to the jury, and hopefully it does, you're thinking in that way. You're thinking of what systemic problems, what bad choices were made that you can really pin on the company if that's what the facts show.
Absolutely. And, as much as we talk about, it's not just a law school exam. You have to think of the big picture story. You have to think about what motivates jurors. We also have to be lawyers and survive summary judgment and survive directed verdicts and try to keep our verdicts on appeal. So we have to do both.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being here today and sharing your wisdom with us, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
Let's take a deep breath together and just be grateful to be alive today. May our actions as lawyers today exemplify the profession at its highest ideals of honor and truth. May we fiercely and compassionately champion our clients' causes. May we tell their story in a way that rings true and is important and meaningful. I'm going to ring a bell 3 times now. This can take you into a meditation practice, a prayer practice, or just remind you, wake up, go out, do good things, and have fun while you're doing it.